everybody. Welcome to the Patriot Show. My name is Anthony Stephen Malone. I am your host. Today, I have a very special guest on the show, Malcolm Robinson, who is the editor of Pathfinder International magazine, the resettlement magazine for all of Her Majesty's forces. Hello, Mal. How you doing, mate?
Hello, mate. Not too bad. Busy, but all good.
Right, mate. A lot of people have heard of Pathfinder magazine. They may have heard your name, but they won't know a lot about you. You have got a very interesting career path. You're obviously a veteran, 9 years in the RAF, and you've done a lot more. Can you give our viewers a little inkling about your history, please?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, like you say, I did 9 years in the RAF, just shy of 9 years. I did 2 tours of Afghanistan, 1 tour of Iraq, and I've done countless countries as I served with, it was then called UK MAMS, which was Mobile Air Movement Squadron, which then changed to 1AMW as it is now, based at Bryce Norton. I was based at Lynham at the time, which is now closed, which was famous for the repatriations. I went through Wootton Bassett.
Yeah.
So I was based there. Managed to squeeze in 3 years in Cyprus, which was very nice. And yeah, so like I said, I was based on a mobile squadron, so we went pretty much anywhere and everywhere in the world, which was fantastic. And if anybody's looking to join up in the RAF, that's one squadron now. You're definitely going to see the world if you join that squadron. I left in 2011 and I was offered a job in Kabul. I went and worked in Kabul for 8 months as a civilian contractor out there, which was interesting.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Got to fly some planes and do some dodgy stuff out there. And then in the meantime, I was always been interested in media. Before I joined up, I was interested in media and journalism and what have you. Did a few qualifications before I joined up, and I continued that. I knew I was getting out. I knew Afghan wouldn't be a long stay, shall we say. It was good money, but wouldn't last forever. So I set up a media company. I still in the RAF, as you do, publishing football magazines. So we were publishing football magazines when I was out in Afghan, which was 1 minute dodging this, that, and the other, and then doing phone interviews for the magazine from Kabul. So that was quite interesting. And then we developed the company. We got an investor on board. We developed the company from 1 magazine to 4 magazines, covering different football clubs and different football occasions. And from there, really, my career progressed into being a sports editor for NCJ Media, which is part of the Trinity Mirror Group, who published the Daily Mirror and Sunday Mirror and all the good stuff. And we were based up in the Newcastle office, so we looked after the Chronicle, the Sunday Sun, and the Journal up there, which was a fast-paced environment, as you can imagine. And from there, I got offered another fantastic gig out in Sierra Leone to go and work out there, looking after security and communications out there for the UK government's Ebola crisis relief team, which was a massive life experience. I thought I'd seen a lot in Afghanistan and around the world, but Sierra Leone was that next level up. It was quite a magnificent country, but it's been war torn and what have you as well, and had many diseases throughout the years, which is very sad and had effects on the country. So, but yeah, that was a massive life experience for me. Again, that wasn't going to be a long-term gig, because once Ebola was eradicated, we weren't really going to be hanging around. There wasn't a great deal for us to do after that. And I ended up back at the University of Sunderland, in my hometown, as commercial manager. And then from there, I landed the role, what you say, I'm editor of Pathfinder magazine. I've been there for 3 years, or 3.5 years now. Time's flown, which is fantastic for me. Ticks both boxes for me, because I was obviously interested in media still, and my media background in the military. So it's nice to keep my hand in the military side of things and try and help people go through resettlement. It's a magazine for all three services, and veterans. We're keen to point out, just because you've left doesn't mean you can't read Pathfinder. There's lots of good stuff in there, mental health, life skills stuff in there as well. It's not just all about careers now. There's many elements to resettlement, and what I've found and what I've found in my own journey is it took me several jobs and several years for me to properly resettle. And so if I can help people avoid that and try and get them resettled a lot earlier, then fantastic.
Yeah, you're a very humble man as well. I just want to go back slightly there. Did you get an award for the work you did in Sierra Leone?
Yeah, I got the Ebola medal. Quite a few has got it, like, but yeah, it was quite weird, really, because obviously I got a few medals from campaigns and the forces. To get one as a civilian, I thought my medal days were over, like, but it was a nice little bonus to go along with the work we did in Sierra Leone. And I mean, I know it sounds cheesy and like cliched, but the real bonus was to obviously help out the country. And help out the situation there, which ultimately was what we did. Yeah,
I just wanted to bring that point up there, because obviously with you being out there, obviously being on the ground out there as well, it's not an easy place to work in, operating, but the people over there are fantastic. Hopefully in the next month or so, I might be actually over there again.
Fantastic. I'd love to go back. Like, it's a brilliant place. It sounds really, really harsh to say, but I really enjoyed my time there. As in the country itself, it's got some, aside from its problems and aside from like the Ebola at the time, it's a beautiful country. And actually, the bounty advert from 1980 is actually shot there. Not many people know that. So
there you go. Okay, right. The obviously with the Patriot show, a lot of members of the armed forces and the veteran community are watching this show as well. Can you tell me how important is it, the resettlement of members of Her Majesty's forces or services, for when they're in the services to come out into civilian street? Can you speak a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, sure. I mean, just touching lightly on my history again, I was probably the worst person, ironically, to be editor of a resettlement magazine. My own resettlement was about 2 weeks. It was in 2011. I left the RAF, and at that time, MOD were making some more cutbacks, as they do. And if you had a job lined up, you were free to go, so to speak. So I did about 2 weeks resettlement, and did about 2 courses in business management, and I've kind of paid for that since, as in my own careers jump from job to job. Sometimes it's been situational, as in short-term contracts, as in Afghanistan and Sierra Leone, which I knew going into. But I think many other roles I could have probably held on for longer. Not that I got fired or anything, but I jumped ship and did different things because I found I wasn't resettled mentally. So touching on that, resettlement is absolutely vital. You get it right. Not everybody gets it right first time, and it's a bit like taking your GCSE. If you don't get it right first time, it's not the end of the world. You learn from it, and if you can learn from that, then fantastic. But learn quickly. But yeah, resettlement is it's probably overlooked by a lot of people, including the authorities, and there's a lot of elements that go to resettlement that people don't take on board either. It's not just careers. There's if you've got a military family, you've got to look after your family. Your spouse needs a job. It's all about settling your family, which is hopefully going to be a permanent location for you on leaving the forces. So you need to know the area. There's the mental health side of things. A lot of people join the forces to be part of a family, and once they've lost that family on leaving the forces, a lot of people do confront moments of isolation. And I think the more we talk about things like that, the better, and kind of normalize it. It's perfectly normal to miss your mates, isn't it? It's bound to happen if you've been closely serving with some members. you are going to experience moments of isolation, especially if you're moving to a different part of the country, if you're moving back home again from where you were based. And I think if we just use isolation as an example, if we talk about that more, and people expect that to happen, and when it does happen, yeah, well, we spoke about that is going to happen. It can stop us hopefully going down a rocky route of leading to things like depression, which aren't talked about either. So there's many facets to this settlement. It's not just about careers. Obviously, getting the jobs are massively important, but there's stuff like housing advice. Some troops joined up when they were 16, and as you know, a lot of things are done for you in the forces. So, and people still in quarters and that when they leave, so people might not have applied for a mortgage before. So there's just things like this that we take for granted out in the civilian world now, that troops and that in the forces want to take on board and haven't like encountered before. So like I say, resettlement's absolutely vital, and there's many elements to it.
That is very important. Thank you for bringing that up as well. Obviously, your magazine, it isn't just for members of the services who are leaving now. There's also a lot of information in there that could be very beneficial to veterans out there at this moment in time. If they want to contact you or read Pathfinder magazine, how can they find you?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to give my email address out across social media and on platforms like this. So if you've got a pen and paper, my email address is mrobinson@balticpublications.co.uk. Drop me a line, or alternatively go on pathfinderinternational.co.uk. You can there's contact details on there as well, and you can also sign up to our digital e-letters that we send out all the time, and also the magazine's available online. The magazine's free of charge as it is online, and if you want a hard copy, we can easily add you to the mailing list. And as I say, one of the things that I was keen to expand on in my time at the magazine was, we're predominantly looking at people with resettlement in their resettlement period. However, there are veterans out there, guys and girls that I know in the late 20s, and they're labelled veterans, rightly or wrongly. I prefer the term ex-military, but everybody's got their own personal opinion. These veterans in the late 20s, they might have got the next job on leaving the forces, but that might be a stepping stone. So they might still be looking to fully resettle, and that's why we started doing some events a couple of years back, and it was labelled the Armed Forces and Veterans Resettlement exhibitions. And people who had left the forces were quite welcome to attend, even just to mingle again and see some familiar faces, what have you, at the events. And there were stands there, not just about careers, again, mental health, housing advice, business advice. If you might have got a job on leaving the forces, but you fancy a crack at your own business, come along. We've got people with business advice, both in the magazine and in our events as well. So that's why I was quite keen to stress that and include the veteran community in the magazine. And also, like I say, we're starting to look at and expand to look at getting more spouses information in the magazine as well, because that's vitally important. If your spouse is, if you're resettled but your spouse isn't, then that's going to unsettle you. So you might as well get both resettled at the same time, so to speak. And the more we can do that, the better it is.
I think that is a very important point you brought up. It's not just about the person leaving the service to be resettled. It's about the family and the spouses. Very important that. With the COVID situation, I'm not going to speak a great deal about that in the UK at the moment, because everyone else is. But the mental health issues at the moment, and there's a lot of veterans out there who are going through quite a difficult and challenging time at the moment. If you could say a short message to them, what would that be?
It's a tough one. I've been through issues myself. I've had been diagnosed with elements of PTSD and GAD, which is general anxiety disorder, which the PTSD's triggered. which is also a bout of depression, which I think that's like a dirty word, isn't it? PTSD kind of sounds Gucci, but depression's a dirty word everybody avoids.
It's all part of it, though.
Yeah, it's all part of it, and it's a vicious circle. What would I say? Don't be afraid to speak to somebody. If you're struggling, do not be afraid to speak to somebody. Could be anybody. Could be your old mucker in the forces. Could be even just a message, a Facebook Messenger, or a text message. If you don't want to pick up the phone, send a message out. I haven't got a lot of people's phone numbers, but I'm all I contact with people on Facebook and Twitter, and LinkedIn. Send them a message. It could be, how you doing, mate? Then they'll obviously reply, how you doing, and it breaks down a few barriers. And like I said, don't be afraid to talk to somebody. Talk to professionals. There's plenty since I've been in the job now 3.5 years at Pathfinder. There's a lot of helplines and what have you started up. So use them and utilize them, and just don't be afraid to speak. Somebody would be the main message.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying that. So the message is to veterans out there, men, women, boys and girls who are struggling, or the spouses, if there's issues, pick up the phone. You're not alone out there. A lot of people are feeling exactly the same thing. That's very important. It isn't about what we're all going through at the moment with the COVID. It's how we all get out of this at the other end. Okay? You've worn a uniform. You've got everyone's respect. It's not a bad thing speaking out. It is okay to say you're not okay. I have issues occasionally. Everyone does. It happens. Pick the dog and bone up to someone who you know and have a chat. Right, on a little bit of a lighter note, Mal, you've been all over the world, mate. You've seen things, but you got the T-shirt, mate. Can you give us a little funny story of something that you've witnessed during your worldly travels?
And
remember, you're on a show as well, so it has to be clean.
Oh, God.
Oh, he's on the spot now, ladies and gentlemen. He's thinking about it.
On the spot. I haven't got one. Trying to think. I'm trying to think. I've got a clean one.
Right. Well, tell you what, we can come back to that one at the end of the show. And
I'll have a little think in the back of my mind.
Yeah. Just wanted to break everything up a little bit on this one. You have written an awful lot over the years. What is the most memorable thing, or what is the proudest thing that you've ever written about?
That's a good one. Obviously, I wrote one of the first books, believe it or not, on the modern Afghan conflict in 2007. It was only a small published book. It was based on, it was kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing, a diary, as well as a war diary, but it was also entwined with my love for football and my own team of Sunderland. It was under the management of Roy Keane at the time. So that was quite a unique book, a first book to start with. So that would be quite up there. However, an article I did an interview that I did last year, actually, just wasn't as recently as October last year, and that was with Sir Ranulph Fiennes. And that was kind of just blew me away. The interview was absolutely fantastic. It was only over the phone because of obviously COVID, but Ranulph was on top form, and it was absolute brilliant interview. For me, was an absolute legend growing up. It still is, and I've done some amazing interviews over the last 12-18 months for Pathfinder. I've done some fantastic interviews with footballers in the past as well. Even Sylvester Stallone at one point did an interview with him. But hats off, like Sir Ranulph Fiennes by a mile, was absolutely just fantastic. Some of the stuff that he's done that we do know about, but to hear it firsthand and some of his stories, and he was just so laid back about it. He's just absolutely brilliant. But yeah, that and the book, how the book got published when I was still in the RAF, I kind of naively put it out there with a local publisher, back in the northeast at the time. How it got published is beyond me. Probably would be hauled over the coals these days, but yeah, it sold out. That book did well, so I've done a couple of the books as well, and keep on meaning to get around to writing some more, but it's just the time element, and I've got a few plans, and never say never to get back into writing a little bit more, like, but yeah.
Okay, well, I might come back to you in a future interview about a funny story. I'm going to let you think about that one, mate. Right, Mal, I would like to say thank you so much for coming on to the Patriot Show. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you for being the editor of Pathfinder International Magazine. It's something that's very important for people leaving the services, and I would stress to a lot of ex-military veterans out there, get a copy of it, read it. It is very informative, and you'll find a lot of information in there that is beneficial to you as well. Anyone who's got any questions, you can reach out to Mal, reach out to myself in confidence, not a problem. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you very much for watching the Patriot Show. It's been a pleasure. It's been emotional. Mal, thank you so much for coming on, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for having us.
Everybody, stay safe. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.